Namaste. Welcome to this video. I just love you all so much. My heart just feels so open, and I'm just so thrilled to connect with you guys. In this video, my last video, sometimes I feel like the divine just uses me as this conduit to kind of like bring a lightning bolt through, or just like this kind of a triggering, polarized type of belief through or something. It brings that kind of transmission through every now and then, and I just feel so alive when I make those videos. But then right after, or maybe 2 hours after, I'm like, oh my gosh, like a lot of that shame comes up, that shame for just speaking what's true in my body. And it's interesting, I'm not so attached to what comes through me. I see that, oh, my avatar chose, or my soul chose this avatar to play this video game, and this avatar has, this avatar has this role in this level of the video game. And so I'm not attached to what's coming through. I'm just doing my best to allow it to come through as unguarded and unfiltered as possible. And that's really hard with an ego, because the ego, gets scared of that stuff. It's like, oh God, if I'm that raw and that honest about how I feel, all these belief systems come up about, abandonment, rejection, fear of not being safe. So it's interesting. It's like I'll be really inspired. I'll feel lots of light coming through when I make one of those type of controversial videos. And then I feel really good. And then right after, my ego comes up with all the doubt. And then I just have to sit with that and love that part of me and do my best to not go back and delete the video. I've definitely done that. But the reason I'm making this is because Martin wrote something so beautiful. And it was a different perspective than mine, but Martin expressed his perspective with such depth, and I felt so much heart in your response, Martin. So that's why I wanted to read this. And I feel that the reason I make those videos is that it flushes everything up to the surface, right? It brings stuff up to the surface in my body after I make it. Maybe it triggers somebody. I'm not even saying it triggered you, Martin, but maybe it triggers some people and it brings something up for them. And I can kind of see the intelligence of why God does that. But I just want to make it clear, like, I'm not attached to always having to be right. And I can see, I'm like really open to seeing where I can grow more, to where I can deepen more in my perspectives. And ultimately, I'm not right. I'm not wrong. No, like we're all right and we're all wrong. It's really not about that at the end of the day. It's just about helping each other as reflections to discover the truth and the authenticity in our own body. And so I thought this could be helpful to share this perspective that came through Martin. And I just kind of, not to refute it, not to say why it's wrong, because I actually don't believe that. But just to share my own heart with you, Martin, and try to meet you. Like, Martin really brought us to a lovely depth, and I want to try to meet Martin there from what's alive in my own body, basically. And so Martin says, if I'm being honest, wearing a mask is an act of social solidarity. I feel safe without a mask, and I feel safe without a mask. Or I feel safe with a mask and without a mask. Okay? If there's a chance that I will reduce the transmission for others, why not wear it? And I guess what's alive in my body there is, I'm just not convinced of that. Some people will say the science is really clear on it, on either side, and some people will hold the opinion that the science is all over the place and always changing, and that no one actually knows for certain, because I don't want to get too specific here, because I feel like this is just about what's alive in my body, not necessarily data, but there's studies all over the place about this. And I can only tell you what's alive in my body when I have a mask on is I feel much more unhealthy. I feel my body go into much more of a contracted state. And I know from a quantum healing perspective that leads to a decreasing strength of my immune system. It's like you're sending signals to your body when you're putting, it's like for me, and you might not have this because you might have a different belief system And your body might have different responses to this stuff. I'm just saying what's alive in my body. When I do that, I can feel my body not feel as good, not feel as vital, not feel as healthy. It's like something, it's like this for me. I'm getting some chills when I say that. And when I get chills, it doesn't mean it's the absolute truth. Like, I was getting chills in that last vid. I'm getting chills over there too. Yeah, lots of chills there. Ooh, that's good for me to know too. And in that last video, when I was getting lots of chills and light coming through me, when I was channeling that kind of controversial perspective, it doesn't mean that it was like right for everyone and the only truth or something. It was just like, that's what's in my body to share. It's like we all have a puzzle piece to this collective consciousness, you could say. We all have our own unique energetic signature. So when I get chills, it's just me being in congruence with the unique energetic signature that I signed up to bring here, to share. And so Martin is doing the same thing in what he wrote. He's sharing his unique energetic signature. And this helps us all deepen, you know? So if I didn't share mine, Martin wouldn't have shared his, and I wouldn't be sharing this. And we wouldn't be going deeper and opening into more of a unified consciousness together. So yeah, that's, if you believe that in your body, that it does reduce the transmission for others, I totally get that. And I could see why it would be authentic for you to put one on. Absolutely. But for me, it doesn't feel that way. And with what I take in from the external, it reflects how I feel. And, you know, I don't want to get too deep into that because that's all over the place and that's not my specialty. But that's just something I'll add. If there's a chance that I'll even give others who are extremely anxious about the virus a little more ease by participating in social solidarity, it feels like such a lovely thing to do for fellow human beings. And I can feel your empathetic, loving, tender heart when you say that, Martin. But for me and my body, when it's authentic for me to not put one on, if that makes someone feel a certain thing, that's what they need to feel in that moment. It's like, I don't, if me not wearing a mask triggers fear and anxiety in someone else, I don't actually, from the perspective of the one, I don't want to take that fear and anxiety from them, because that fear and anxiety is a doorway to their own awakening. It's a doorway to help them wake up out of the dream they're in. So a lot of times as empaths, we might want to like take something from somebody, but that fear might be exactly what they need. And them seeing you, and I know this wouldn't be for you, but it's them seeing me without a mask and the fear that triggers up in their body, that could be the fear that they need to deepen, to learn about who they really are. And so I would be doing them a disservice if I acted inauthentically and put the mask on just to help them feel at ease, because that actually, from my perspective, doesn't help them from the deepest perspective, like from the perspective of helping them awaken to their true self. Because it's like, if you can think about in your own awakening, I'm sure, it's like the fear coming up, that's the doorway to more love. That's the doorway to fearlessness. That's the doorway to truth. And I don't want to take someone's fear. If that fear is meant for them to feel in that moment, I'm not going to lapse into inauthenticity and take that from them. I'm not going to take their own awakening, an opportunity to awaken deeper from them in that moment. So this is truly just about being authentic. So if it's authentic, which I feel it is for you, Martin, to wear the mask, then absolutely. Then everything's in congruence. Then you're doing a service to the one. I was more speaking to people who feel in their body that it's not authentic to wear a mask, that they don't buy into the narrative that by wearing a mask they're helping keep other people safe. I'm speaking to those people, and if those people put on a mask, then they're doing a disservice to the one because they're being inauthentic. So it just comes down to what's authentic in your body, and no one else can tell you that but you. Only you know that. And it can be different for you than it is for me, than it is for Jill, than Sally, than Bob. It can be different for everybody, and every situation is different too. Every circumstance is different. So that's more the thing I'm speaking to is if we're buying into that narrative that wearing a mask is helping keep other people safe, and we can feel that in our heart and that feels true to us in our heart, I get it. Stay in your authenticity. It feels like you're making a very conscious and awakened decision there. But I see and I perceive that so many people are not making that decision so consciously as you, Martin, and they're just kind of in that sheep mentality, and they're not thinking for themselves, and it doesn't feel authentic to them, and they're just doing it out of fear of the condemnation of, you know, all the stuff I was talking about earlier, being thrown out of the tribe. And so for those people, it would be a much greater service if they would act in authenticity, even if wearing the mask terrified everyone around them, because they would be bringing so much more light to other people's fear in their body. It's like when their mask is off and they're in their authenticity, they're helping other people see the unconscious fear in their body, rather than putting the mask on and then everything stays unconscious and the people don't recognize how much fear was already in their body. It's not because your mask is off around these people that they're feeling fear in their body. The fear was in their body first, and you not having your mask on, it triggered the fear up. So a lot of times we think cause and effect with why people are feeling things, but that fear, it was already in their body. And so for the people who, where it's authentic to not wear a mask, you're doing the one a service by being true to that. And those are the people who I was speaking to, the people who don't buy into the narrative that wearing a mask keeps everyone safer. And if you do buy into the narrative, I'm not saying you're wrong, because that could be so true in your own heart. This isn't about right and wrong, it's just about what you feel in your own body and heart. So I think I covered that. And your last point here is so beautiful. Do I feel safe without a mask or not? My beliefs about my own safety actually do not affect my decision to wear a mask whatsoever. What affects the mask wearing decision is simply the act of doing what is for the highest good of all. It's never a form of compliance or rebellion. It's sovereign solidarity. May we be mindful towards one another with each interaction we have. And I just love how you did. I just felt that come straight from your heart, and that is the depth I was talking about, how you were helping me go to a deeper depth. And I feel like for me, of course, I've already stressed this, the highest good for all is if I'm in my authenticity, if I'm just true to what's alive in my body, to what spirit is guiding me to do. So absolutely, Martin, if it is true in your body and spirit is guiding you to wear a mask around others because you feel that keeps them safer and you feel that keeps the risk of transmission lower, of course, listen to that guidance. And for others, if you are getting guidance from spirit and your heart and your higher self to not wear a mask and to be authentic in that, even if everyone around you is, even if there's fear in your body about it, even if it's triggering guilt and shame in your body about it, if spirit's still telling you to not put a mask on, then you also have to listen to that. So, because that's for the highest good. It's for the highest good either way. Do you see how this all works? It's for the highest good that Martin's doing what he's doing, and it's for the highest good for those of you who don't want to wear a mask because you're not guided to do it by spirit. It's in the highest good for you to follow that truth. It's all perfect. And it's not like one is right and one is wrong. It's just like what is alive in your own body. And I just wanted to read this because Martin, I could tell, just crafted this, it was just so eloquently written, and it really helped us deepen this conversation so we could have a clear understanding. And I felt like reading this would bring more of an inclusivity to this kind of dialogue, to this kind of issue, or I don't even know if it's an issue, just this what's going on in the current events, right? And you know, like the underlying message of this, and like all of my videos, is just be authentic to you and try to let go of judgment and the attachment to being right and the whole denial of I don't want to see where I'm wrong or where I could learn, because we can always learn from one another. And when we get too attached to our perspectives, the only one, it's like we shut our field shuts down. Our psychic field shuts down. But when we just stay open and we receive other people's transmissions and spiritual downloads, even if they're different from ours, it helps us like awaken more of our grids. It helps our heart open more fully. It helps us love everyone we see, even if their authentic conscious action is different than ours. And so, yes, it sounds like for you, Martin, you're being sovereign, you're being so conscious, you're listening to your heart, you're listening to your highest truth, and that's so beautiful, and you are doing what's good, the best for the highest good for the one, because you are in your truth. But so many around me, I've seen in my travels, I've went across this whole country in the United States, I'm seeing so much of the opposite. I'm seeing very few people in their sovereignty, especially in certain areas. I'm seeing a lot of unconsciousness surrounding this, a lot of inauthenticity, and a lot of people giving their power away just because they're afraid of potential consequences for staying in their truth. And so I'm speaking to these people a lot. I'm trying to trigger them awake to like, hey, you don't have to do that anymore. You're free, you're sovereign, you can live your truth. You don't have to be guilted into doing something that you actually don't believe. It's like, listen to your own body and your own heart at the end of the day. And don't let people shame you for what that is, no matter what it is. You listen to that and you follow that, because your heart isn't lying to you. Spirit isn't lying to you, I promise. All right. I hope that, I really just wanted to shine a light on an opposing perspective, because I really love that. Like, all perspectives deserve the fullest light. And this was such a beautifully crafted way to present a different perspective than I was sharing. And so, anyways, I hope that this was fun to make. I have this beautiful church behind me. I'm very happy right now. I feel very alive, very open, very blessed. And thank you for being here. If you would like to support this channel with a donation, I will put a link underneath. If you'd like to support me by booking a session with me, I love connecting with you all in sessions. They bring me so much fulfillment. And lastly, I hope to remember to put a link to my Patreon page on here as well. Much love to you all, and namaste.